you believe feminism should be defined, and do you think it can be reconciled with conservatism?
Well, so yes and no. It depends. There's first, second, and third wave feminism. First wave feminism is that women should have a right to vote. Second wave feminism had a lot of problems, which is the female liberation movement, that women should not just be at home, but they should get into the workforce. Third wave feminism is complete garbage, which is toxic modern day feminism, which is irreconcilable with any decent society, which is far more about hating men than actually respecting women. And you guys all know the type of that kind of feminism. There are some good aspects of second wave feminism, but at the core of feminism, we have to ask the question: has it made American women happier? And it hasn't, actually. American women are more suicidal, more depressed, more anxious than they were prior. And I believe, and again, we get in trouble for saying this, is that you should have the agency and liberty to do whatever you want. But many women, a majority, like 90+% deep down, have this urge to reproduce and to raise children. And we are telling them to forsake that and go become a CEO of a shoe company. And we're wondering why so many young ladies are miserable and angry, because they're at war with something within them that they actually want to do, which is to have a relationship, have children, and nurture future humans into this world.
What's up, guys? Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. I don't know where I'm gonna release this video, but this is a pre-recorded content that I created, and I just want to talk some more cultural kind of topics during the weeks that it's a slow news week, not much going on. But without further ado, we're gonna talk about feminism, right? And I'm a big anti-feminist, if you want to call me that. I am. I am in big, strong considerations for the traditional family. I am part of a traditional household. I'm the sole breadwinner in my house. I'm married to a woman who is a stay-at-home mom, and she is more educated. She's more educated than me. All the feminists gonna come in my comment section and say, "Oh, your wife." She's more educated than me. My wife graduated college. I was a college dropout, but I'm the breadwinner. So, and a lot of the things that these women are gonna speak about, especially, I believe her name is Bronte. Here's her name, so I don't. Yeah, I know. Guys. You guys know I'm bad with names, right? And she's gonna be debating Isabel Brown about feminism, the effects of feminism. And I wanted to start off the intro with Charlie Kirk, because Charlie Kirk's view on feminism is, I believe, like a 99% of what I believe. The only thing I would disagree with Charlie Kirk is I don't think feminism was ever based on equality. I believe feminism was using equality like a skin suit, because this is going to be a mask off moment for feminism, that all it really was just to give women power and women power alone. Because now in 2024, a lot of women they're more graduated. They own more houses, right? Single women were bragging about that fact. Oh, single women own more houses than single men. Look at all these disparities that's in favor of women, but feminists are not going out here and saying, women, we need to help men catch up. You don't hear that from feminists. So feminism is a worldview that only exclusively focus on helping women. Totally, that's it. It's about giving women power, about giving women prestige, about giving women privilege. That's all feminism is about. I only differ from Charlie Kirk the motivations of feminism. Because if you look at the time feminism became a thing, only 20% of women wanted feminism. Majority of women didn't want feminism, but yet feminism still passed. Why? Because government found out they could benefit from it. Look at the two income traps. It's more expensive. The whole things, you need daycare. Daycare's so expensive because of the demand. All these working moms, right? And I think feminism brings out a lot. It incentivizes a condition that really hurt women. The happiness factor. You can go on TikTok. You can find all these videos of women complaining about the work week and wanting the workplace to be more accommodating to them. It is unlocked a slew of problems in our society. And I think I'm done with my monologue here. And I just want to get right into the video. So let's take a look.
Statistics, because again, I've read many statistics that show that typically mothers and people who give birth are more likely to suffer from mental health conditions than women who do not, because it is more of a stressor. There's all of that unpaid work, unpaid labor, and unseen mental load that women have to carry. And we also have to look at the way that these surveys are asked, because a lot of times.
Okay. And I was only 5 seconds. I have to speak about this. So, as a man married to a stay-at-home mom, right? Mental unload. What does like quantify that for me, right? Because I can make the same argument. Hey, look, I'm spending time away from my kids. I'm very depressed because I love my kids. I'm very depressed because I don't get to spend as much time. How unfair it is, wife, that you get to spend most of the hours with my kid while I had to go out there slaving away at a job with all these stresses from the performance reviews, from deadlines. I'm stressing myself. I'm killing myself maintaining this family. Like it's this perpetual victimhood. Like it's this perpetual assumption that women can't make choices. Women can't know the trade-offs of the decisions that they make. If women want autonomy, they have to take responsibility for the choices that they make, right? And the fact that this worldview still pretends that women are children, it's kind of insulting to me in a way, right? Because my wife knowingly did this. She knowingly made a sacrifice, just like I knowingly make a sacrifice. I knowingly make a sacrifice that I'm gonna spend less time with my kids. I come home from work at 6 p.m. My kids go to sleep at 8 o'clock on the dot because we got a routine with our kids. That means I only got to spend 2 hours a day with my kids until it's the weekend. You don't think that I get mental, like, you don't think that hurts me on an emotional level? But I do it. Why? Because hey, I want my wife to have that time with her, with the kids. The kids need my kids are 4 and 1. They need their mom a lot more than they need me right now. So I made that conscious trade-off to allow her to have that space. And you're mad that she's not getting paid to do it. What do you mean? It's her kid. If I was out, let's say I died, my wife was a widow. Do you expect the government to pay for her kid? Oh, look at all that unpaid work. She's still doing unpaid work. If you remove me out of the equation, she's still going to be doing those same things. But as me working, I take one stress away from her. Trade-offs. This is something feminists don't seem to understand. Trade-off. There's trade-offs. Everything you do, there's a cost. The cause and effect. You want something, you got to pay money to get it. So you spend ultimate times with your kids. But you're mad you don't make money for spending time with your offspring. Make it make sense, feminist. You can't have your cake and eat it too. This is the fundamental flaw with feminism. That it operates on an emotional kind of worldview where it believes that it can have it all. It can have its cake and eat it too. No, it's a balancing act. And on certain stages of your life, you're going to have to prioritize different things. Our kids are young, so my wife prioritizes the kids, the family. As the kids get older, she might prioritize her career more. Hey, I'm going to start trying to get back into the career field again. Right now, my wife's starting a little small business. Okay, that's fine. But the way my dynamic works is I didn't pressure my wife to do that. One day, I just made enough money. I looked at my wife. I say, hey, you could be a stay-at-home mom if you want. That's it. I just gave her the option. 1 month, all it took. My wife's manager started giving her lip, I guess you could say, like abusing her, but starting being unprofessional towards her. My wife said, I quit. I don't need this job. 1 month after I told my wife, yeah, you have that option now. Her manager looked at her sideways. My wife was like, I'm gone. I don't need this job. I don't need this stress. Because at the end of the day, as much as feminists love to worship corporate America and you're making a trade there. If my wife leaves me or if I leave my wife, she walks away with half my stuff. When corporate America lays you off, fire you, you walk away with only the things you contributed to the relationship. So you still have a risk. Oh, I don't need no man. Oh, sure, you don't need no man, but you do need a job though, which most likely was provided by a man who created the company. I don't want to get into the semantics of it. But end of the day, women, this is something men realize a long time. You're making a trade somewhere. You're making a sacrifice somewhere. You got to pick your sacrifice. You got to pick your struggle. You can't have it all. You have to pick your struggle. And I think this is the difference between men and women. I think this is why men are more content with their marriages, life situations, because men understand I can't have it all. So I'm going to pick what I can. Hey, I want my kids to be with their mom. I want their kids to have that time with them. I see how my kid is. My kid love their mom. What? Now that they drive her crazy, but hey, trade-offs. Anything worth having is going to be hard. It's hard to build up an audience. It's hard to talk publicly to people. But people make those trade-offs every day. Why? Because they believe that it's more valuable than what they're giving up. And the fact that you think this feminist, I know I went on a long-winded rant, but it's this differencing of views. Because this feminist doesn't value her children more than money, she believes she should be paid to take care of her own kids that came out of her body, that she helped create. Her husband, that they both participated in a certain act to create these kids. She believed the husband, who also contributed to making that kid, also has to pay her for taking care of the kid. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And this is what I'm talking about with feminism. The premise of feminism was never about equality. It was merely a means, to me, it's identity politics. It's a means to divide the family. Because they say united you stand, divided you fall. And feminism was merely an ends to divide the family, to separate women's interest from her husband's interest. You want to get paid for someone who contributed the same amount of DNA to your child as you do, but because you spend more time with the child than he did, he has to pay you to take care of your guys' child. So is child support nothing more than a means to an end for women to get paid to take care of their child? That's what you're asking for, feminist, child support. And this dynamic is from a perception of a woman that do not trust a man. End of the day, you married me for a reason. This is what I tell my wife. You married me for a reason. If you didn't trust me, you wouldn't marry me. And there goes the conclusion. But we're not a hate movement, says the feminist. I believe you are. In some ways, I look at the feminists like I look at the red pill. Hey, you're only focusing on one half of the dynamic and not caring about the united, because at the end of the day, the society can't function if we're not united. But united we stand, divided we fall. But I digress. I'll continue. I'll let it play out for at least 2 minutes before I interrupt.
Times the questions that are asked in a certain way that want to get a certain answer from you. But I think, again, when you see progression and you see progressive ideas, you see it as people pushing that idea as the only correct way, where I just view it differently. I see it as opening up opportunities for people and recognizing that all of these different ways of life are valid. And again, through
Feminists don't
history,
believe that.
historically, women have been given these very narrow options and told, and when we talk about propaganda.
In the 1800s, the time of war, men were killing themselves, men had a low life expectancy rate. Do you think women wanted to be soldiers? A lot of the jobs was catered to physical. It was just limitations. It was just being practical. So is it based on sexism or practicality that women were limited to certain specific roles? And this is what I'm talking about with feminism. Feminism is not based on equality. Feminism is just to create grief, create envy, create negativity towards another gender, men. Every time I look at feminists and how they perpetrate themselves, feminist was the one who said that sex doesn't define your biology. Biology doesn't define your sex. Feminists started that. And then the end conclusion of that thought is trans ideology. This is why you see a lot of liberal feminists still going along with the trans women are women, because they believe that gender was merely an identity, not a byproduct of reality. Feminists started this. And you see just the way she thinks about these things. It's so asinine to me. What is this? What is this thought? What? And this is why I say that conservatives can't marry a feminist. Feminism is literally antithetical to conservatism. It is. Conservatism is about unity, community. Feminists only care about themselves. And because they perceive something as not fair, they cry about it. But they don't understand the things that they're being protected from. Hey, you're being protected from war. Go ahead, go ahead. Help out at the farm. Sure, you were able to do all the jobs within your capacity. And that was the argument. But then they'll retroactively look back and say, oh, look at all this. Women were so limited. But what was the reason? Sexism or practicality? And 9 times out of 10, you'll find out it was due to practicality. Hey, you have a limited capacity to earn money in the 1800s, 1900s. A lot of these jobs were still labor intensive. A lot of these jobs still required physical labor. We needed a lot of kids to take care of a farm, to cultivate the land. They don't look at it from a practical standpoint. They just want to look at an event and try to make a narrative out of it. And this is what I'm tired of from the feminist. But I digress. I'll stop. I'll let it play out this time.
right? I see that as propaganda. I see it as propaganda to say that you will not be happy unless you have a family and children, because for a lot of people, that is not true. And that's also not necessarily a choice. If you don't meet the right person or you get stuck with the wrong person,
Absolutely.
it doesn't necessarily
If you don't find the right job, or you get stuck with the wrong job, you won't be happy either. You could be in an abusive relationship at the corporate America too. Career women, let me know in the comment section. It's true too. Look, as a man, all I know is pick your struggle. That's it. Pick your struggle. Because you can't have it all. You can't. It's impossible. No one can. Not even men have it all. Oh, men got to do these things. They got to explore the world, whatever. Yeah, but men died a lot too. Men take a lot of risk. Oh, men are all these CEOs are men. Yeah, men start more companies than women. It's just how the numbers roll. If I do something more than you do, I'm more likely to be the thing than you are. Men tend to start more businesses than women. That's why there's more male CEOs than women CEOs. Jordan Peterson made a astute point about choices that women make, the different choices that men and women make when you equalize the environment, and they still make different choices. You're just mad that there's not equal outcomes. But my question to feminists is it practical to expect equal outcomes? I'll say no, but I digress.
necessarily mean that you are going to be happy. And so many of our mothers and grandmothers have told us, this did not make me happy. It wasn't the marriage itself, it was the person. So ensure that you are, aiming for an equal partnership, and, make sure that you are choosing your partner wisely, because women have not been given that opportunity. Women have not been, encouraged to really make those intentional choices. It's always
See, this is why I don't focus on like narratives. I focus on outcomes. Right now, women of 2024, they're the most free they ever been in selecting their partners, picking who they'll marry, control over who they have relationships with. And what has happened? Women are complaining about what? Hookup culture. But hookup culture couldn't be a thing unless women participated in it. So damn if you do, damn if you don't. This is what I'm talking about. Women, you need to take responsibility for yourselves. You cannot have autonomy without responsibility. If you're mad about the state that dating is, hey, you contribute 50% to the problem. I'm just saying. Y'all want what? Blue eyes, 6'8", trust fund baby. I forgot the song. That was viral on TikTok for a while ago, right? Y'all are looking for the same kind of guy, essentially creating an environment where that guy has disproportional, I'll say, choice compared. Oh, all these 90%, 80% of the women want me. Okay, I get to sleep with 80% of the women. I don't need to settle down with any of you. While in the traditional sense, tradition forced compromise between both sides. Yeah, I know you're a 6'5", blue eyes, frat guy, Wall Street, but you got to settle with one woman. And it kind of equalized the outcomes. But y'all revolted against tradition, let everyone out to the free market, sexual marketplace, right? And okay, in a free market, the best gets disproportional outcomes. Okay, if I'm the best guy available, I'm gonna have most of the options. But then you can't complain about hookup culture because you're participating in it. You help create the incentive structure. Show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. I'm still on this. I only been 1 minute into but this is how infuriating feminism has become, right? At least I want to hear what Isabel Brown has to say before I end off this video.
It's been about checking a box instead of living life intentionally.
Yeah, and look, I think the spectrum of human happiness obviously is a subjective conversation to have. It depends on the individual. It
I
certainly
agree.
depends on one's
I
circumstances.
agree.
I hope joy is something people continue to choose no matter what their circumstances.
Okay. Like it has everything to do with what I led up the video with. You saw what I led up with in the video with Charlie Kirk talking about, hey, women are not happy, women are depressed. And you look at the demographic of women who are the most depressed in the United States of America, it is a liberal woman. Conservative women tend to be more happy than liberal women. Why? If you look at the data, you find out conservative women are more happy with their family life. Liberal women are not happy with their family life. They're not satisfied with their life. Yet we're supposed to listen to liberal women telling us that feminism is good. Make it make sense. Conservative women, if they are feminists, they're more of the first wave feminists. They just believe, hey, we should be having equal opportunity. Fine, I can agree to that. But conservative women, I think the reason why they're more and I think I did a video on this already. That if you look at the happiness meter, conservative women are the most happy, 63%. 2 times as happy as a liberal woman who is more likely to be a feminist, who are more likely to say single income, no kids. They're more likely to live that lifestyle, yet they're statistically the least happiest demographic in America. But they'll say, oh, women should have the choice to do what makes them happy. But what makes most women happy tends to align with tradition. So you're telling us that we regress as a culture. You're telling us there's a reason why there was a tradition for women to get married off young, to, hey, start your life, have a family young, have your kids young. You mean tradition had a point, but you revolted against tradition because you didn't understand why the tradition was there in the first place. And this is something that conservatives understand at a fundamental level, that regardless if you like it or not, the tradition existed for a reason. And if you don't understand why the tradition existed in the first place, when you try to add a new tradition or you try to, oh, we need a modern dating and all this stuff. Because if you look at the outcomes, modern relationships are less stable than traditional relationships. That's data. That's facts. So is it smart for us to push women down a path or push women towards an ideology that's more likely to make them unhappy, more likely to make them set them up for depression and lack of satisfaction in their life and career? Is it smart for us to do that to women? That's a question I leave for the comment section.
Are, but that speaks more largely to the mental health of our population. What I do have a problem with is not the expectation that people can make different decisions for their life based on their individual circumstances or their own personal autonomy. It's this idea that the narrative we are being pushed every single day by the machine, whatever you want to call that, government, healthcare, media, and everything in between, seems to be overwhelmingly convincing you in whatever way, shape, or form that what we understand to be traditionalism is wrong, that marriage is wrong. In fact, having children is wrong. We're sitting here in Los Angeles filming. The Los Angeles Times a few weeks ago had a headline saying you are an inherently selfish person if you want to have a child. And they were making this claim through the lens of climate change. But I can't tell you how many headlines I see every single day with statistics and data and evidence from the experts that you are a bad person if you want to get married, if you want to have children, if you want to go through this journey of traditionalism.
I think I'll end it off here, right? Feminists are lying when they say they're about choice. Feminists are not about choice. They're just as opinionated as conservatives are about how women should do. And the only thing, the most objective, neutral I can be on this topic, if I was speaking to my daughter, I'll tell her, hey, you got to make a decision of what you're going to prioritize very young. Do you want family or do you want your career? And whatever you pick, you must understand that you're sacrificing in some way, not all the time, but in some way the other. When you make one choice, you deny someone else. When I choose to marry my wife, I denied all other women, technically. So I rejected every woman in the world. I pretty much called every other woman in the world ugly because I picked my wife to be my wife, right? That's the thought. That's the thing with decisions. When you make a decision, you deny something else. And all I'm trying to say is, women, don't fall into dogmas with feminism, even traditionalism, if I'm being objective. All I'm saying is contrast your own personal experiences, your own interest, weigh the pros and cons of both sides, and ask yourself, hey, 40 years from now, if nothing changed, would I be okay with the worst case scenario following this decision versus this decision? And if you say yes, that's the decision you go with. But this idea like, oh, you want to be a career woman? Okay, fine. But don't get mad at the stay-at-home moms that's pushing their lifestyle online. And you see this all the time. Feminists are very insecure about their choices because feminists believe that if you're not doing the same thing that they're doing, it's a knock against their ideology. When stay-at-home moms or these traditional tradcon wives go on social media and project that on social media, feminists go out of their way to ban them, cancel them, harass them. Why? Because they don't like it. And it's core to feminism ideology, and this is where I'm going to end off the video. First wave feminists argue that women should not have the choice to stay at home because a feminist believe this. A feminist that believe that if you give women the option to be stay at home, majority of women would pick it. So in feminism's own ideology, it admits that it's not about choice. It never was about choice. And any feminist that tries to portray feminism as about, oh, we just want to maximize women's options is lying or don't fully understand the origins of feminism. But I digress. I think I talked enough about this topic. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree with me, disagree with me? I'd like to hear it all in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys watching the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.